In the primary, players compete as candidates within a political party, trying to become nominee for President of the United States. Throughout the game, players will travel the country, trying to gain influence in regions as they vote at various points during the game. The player who accumulates the most delegate votes by the end of the game wins. To set up a game of the primary, first, place the game board in the middle of your playing space. Shuffle the news cards and place them next to the game board. Each player picks a color and takes the corresponding pawn and influence cubes. Deal each player 2 random candidate cards. They each choose one to keep and the others are removed from the game. Candidate card powers are public information and everyone should share their powers. The number in the upper right-hand corner of the candidate cards shows how many influence cubes you will start the game with. Each player takes their hand of 14 action cards. You should have 1 plain, 1 bus, 1 negative ad, 1 positive ad, 3 rally, 3 fundraiser, and 4 super PAC cards. These will be described in more detail later. Give the first player token to the person who first cast a vote in a presidential election. Round tokens are used to show during which round a region will vote. For your first game, I suggest placing the 1, 2, 5, and 9 round tokens in the non-voting tokens area. This means that no voting is associated with these round tokens. For your first game, I also suggest that you randomly distribute the rest of the round tokens, 1 per region. The number on the round token shows during which round that region will vote. Note that there are some doubles and triples where multiple regions will be voting during the same round. After your first game, you can set up the round tokens however you like in order to create a different game setup and experience. The voting markers are used to show the current round. Place a voting marker next to the round token labeled 1 and set the others to the side. In turn order, starting with the first player, everyone chooses a home region. Place your pawn and 2 influence cubes from your bank into your home region. I suggest keeping your bank of influence cubes in the small Ziploc bag. You have successfully set up a game of the primary. Now let's dive into the gameplay. Each of the 12 rounds consists of 4 phases. The first phase is the news phase, where you draw a news card and apply its effect to the current round. For example, the evacuation news card forces players to move to a new region. News card effects are always applied in turn order when applicable. The second phase is the action phase. During this phase, players will use their action cards to travel the country and attempt to win regional votes. Players will simultaneously choose 4 action cards from their hand and place them face down in the left to right order that they want to execute them. Now I'll explain the different action cards at your disposal. The fundraiser card allows you to take 1 influence cube from your bank and place it into your hand. Influence cubes in your hand are available to spend via other action cards. The plain card allows you to move anywhere on the map, but you must pay 1 influence cube and return it to your bank. The bus card allows you to move to any adjacent region for free. The negative ad card allows you to remove any 1 influence cube from the map and return it to the bank. The positive ad card allows you to place 1 influence cube from your hand onto any region. The rally card allows you to place 2 influence cubes from your hand onto your current region. Finally, the player who plays the most super PAC cards each round will take 4 influence cubes from the bank and place them into their hand. If there is a non-zero tie between multiple players, all tied players will take 2 influence cubes. Once all players have committed their 4 action cards, the first player will flip over and execute their leftmost action card. Next, the second player will flip over and execute their leftmost action card. The third player will then flip over and execute their leftmost action card. This process continues until all players have executed all 4 of their action cards for the round. This round, the blue player won the Super PAC. They played 3 Super PAC cards, while the yellow player only played 1. This means that the blue player gains 4 influence cubes, and the yellow player just kinda wasted their card. Sorry, better luck next time. The third phase is the vote phase. Since the round token labeled 1 is in the non-voting tokens area, no votes will take place this round. We will see at the end of round 3 how voting works. The final phase is the organize phase. If any regions voted, clear them of all influence cubes and return them to the bank. Flip over the round tokens for the current round, showing the check mark. This helps track which rounds have been completed. Move the voting markers to the round tokens that correspond to the next round. For example, the voting marker that was next to round token 1 will now move next to round token 2. Any unused voting markers should be kept to the side. Players then collect their used action cards, which will be available for use during the next round. Pass the first player token 1 player to the left to complete the organize phase. Congratulations, you just completed the first round. The remaining 11 rounds follow the same structure we just went through. Rounds 2 and 3 will follow the same phases, but there will be a vote at the end of round 3. Since the round token labeled with 3 is in the Texas region, a vote will occur there during this vote phase. Note that some regions have 2 numbers printed on them, while other regions only have 1. Regions with 2 numbers will award delegates for both first and second place. Regions with 1 number only award delegates for first place. First and second place are determined by how much influence you have in the region, which is the sum of both your influence cubes and your pawn. In this example, the red player has 5 total influence in the Texas region, and the yellow player only has 2. Therefore, the red player takes first place and earns 15 delegates. These are tracked around the perimeter of the board using an influence cube. The yellow player takes second place and earns 6 delegates. Remember to clear the influence cubes from regions after they vote. The remaining rounds follow this same structure. Whoever has the most delegates at the end of the game wins and becomes the party's nominee for president. If there is a tie, the tied player with the most influence cubes in their hand wins. Congratulations to the blue player! You now know how to set up and play the primary. Hi, I'm Matt Kwok from Mountaintop Games, and I approve this message.